योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि.
Okay. So we were talking about this beautiful scheme of Patanjali, the scheme of 8 limbs of yoga. And you cannot ignore any one limb. As you travel with all your 4 limbs intact, so yoga travels with all its 8 limbs impact. The body yogic has to have 8 limbs. Even if one is lacking, the body yogic is not complete. And that's how he put forth a beautiful roadmap for us. Yamas take care of our relationships with the fellow human beings. You're living in a society, you cannot isolate yourself. You are connected. And all the time, your ego is trying to separate that which is connected. All the time. All the time. Your ego is trying to separate that which is connected. All the time, you are running after something, you're wanting something, disregarding what you have. These are the causes of suffering. And promise of every darshan is to get rid of sufferings. Heyam dukkham anagatam. That is a sutra. You'll come across it. Heyam dukkham anagatam. The suffering which has not yet arrived into your life has to be destroyed so that there is no chance of it arriving ever. That is the promise of the Yoga Darshan, the Yoga Sutras. So he beautifully explains to us what should be our relationship, how should we deal with our fellow human beings. Then he wonderfully again explains to us that how should we deal with ourselves, the most difficult job. How to deal with ourselves. You know what we are? We are just an image of ourselves, which we have conjured in our mind. So we are what we think. We are what image we have created and what aspirations we have, and failures and successes attached to it. And you are never able to see your real self because you think you are that image, you are those aspirations. You can never come out of them and look at yourself in reality. And that is what Patanjali is teaching us to do, how to do it. So in Niyam, he explains how the relationship with yourself you should construe, you should develop, how it should evolve. And then he comes into asana. And as far as Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, which is Raja Yoga, is concerned, as we discussed last time, that it is the culmination of the asana practice, which enables you to sit in Sthira Sukham Asanam for a long duration, as long as you achieve what is coming forth. So that is a basic requirement, asana. So we spoke about Sthira Sukham Asanam. We spoke about Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. Why dissolving your mind into infinity? So that the ego doesn't interfere. So, all these competitions of yoga and, exhibitionism in yoga, performances of yoga, they are not yoga. They're there, okay, fine. Their usefulness is only to the point of making yoga popular. But it is coming at a cost of people thinking that is all. That is yoga. I get lovely body, I get flexibility, I can stretch, I'm fit, I live long, that is yoga. But that is not yoga. That is Hatha Yoga. But Hatha Yoga has to culminate in Raja Yoga. After Hatha Yoga, you must be able to sit in Sthira Sukhamasana for long durations, as I said, till you achieve your Dharana Dhyan Samadhi. And if Hatha Yoga is not leading you into this, then Hatha Yoga practice is useless. As far as yoga is concerned, it is futile. Then we spoke about Tato Dvanva Anabhigataha, and then the most important sutra we discussed, Tasmin Sati. When yamas are in place. See, when I have no conflict with anyone, all my fellow human beings, I'm at peace with all my fellow human beings. What will be the demeanor of my Annamaya Kosh? Have you ever thought about it? You know, each and every cell in your body is listening to your thought process. ये जो chatterbox चल रहा है ना दिमाग में यहाँ पे chatterbox, each and every cell of your body is eavesdropping on it. ऐसे कान दे के सुन रही है हर पेशी तुम्हारे शरीर की कि तुम्हारे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. Because Annamaya Kosh is for you. It follows you. It follows your orders. It doesn't know that you're a complete idiot and you will be thinking wrong. It just follows what you're thinking. So if my thought process itself is based on yamas, ahimsa, asatya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, then what will be the state of my Annamaya Kosh, my body, my systems, my internal systems, my respiratory system, my circulatory system, everything is affected by your mano, what is happening in your Manomaya Kosh, because that is how they descend, you know. Manomaya, then Pranamaya, and Annamaya. Manomaya ke piche Vijnanamaya. There is a connect. But nobody thinks about this. So it is extremely important for a yoga sadhak as to what kind of relationship he is enjoying with his fellow human beings. Then niyama. What relationship am I enjoying with myself? Am I at peace with myself? That is the first question. Oh God, that is such a difficult question. Am I at peace with myself? There are so many upheavals going in. This, that. Chitta vichalit astane bhi. है ना? Is your chitta calm? What are you doing about it? शौच संतोष तपः स्वाध्याय ईश्वर परिधान. तपः स्वाध्याय ईश्वर परिधानानि क्रिया योग. लास्ट से मैंने बताया था ये. तो वो तपः स्वाध्याय ईश्वर परिधान comprises kriya yoga. So kriya yoga is mandatory for us as yoga students. तप हमने देखा क्या है, स्वाध्याय हमने देखा, ईश्वर परिधान हमने देखा. We've seen all this. Go through the recordings if you don't recall. So if I am in shauch, if I am in santosh, how my cells of the body would be reacting to that? How will they react? Quality of your life will go up. And then come asana and then. So yama are in place, niyama are in place, asana is in place. What will be the quality of my breath? Interference, no emotional input that my breath changes. Emotional input, thoughts change the pattern of your breath. We don't want that input. We don't want that interference. And then on that neutral, normal, natural breath, we perform pranayama. Tasmin sati, when that breath is going on, only then, when that involuntary, natural miracle is going on, Then you superimpose your volition on it by Desha, Kala, Sankhya. Last time I spoke about this and I asked you to experiment with this, Desha, Kala, Sankhya. So, did you practice that? Did you practice Desha, Kala, Sankhya? Did you? Because the the maxim, as I said, is yogena yogyo gnatavyo. Yogena yogo gnatavyo. Even today, every time I give this talk, every time I teach a class at my studio, something new is revealed to me. That is the meaning of yogena yogo gnatavyo. Your practice of yoga itself will reveal wonderful facets of this diamond every time you practice. So practice is indispensable. Practice of all the limbs, not only asana, all the limbs, everything. Because it deals with your pancha kosh. It is not isolated with only one kosh, that is annamaya, about which everyone is concerned. So when you practice pranayam, your breath becomes dirgha sukshma. Bahya vritti, we discussed this last time. Bahya vritti, abhyantara vritti, stambha vritti, all the three vrittis to be practiced in with cognizance to desha, kala, and sankhya. When you go on practicing this, two things happen. First, your breath becomes very subtle, imperceptible, very subtle. Your mental state is affecting your breath all the time. Now the mental state is at peace, absolute peace. As that peace increases, your body, your cells start listening to it. So they are also at composure, at peace. Your whole body, your breath, everything is at peace. It's a very different quality of breathing. If Santa Jnaneshwar is sitting by your side, you should observe his breathing. You should try to listen to his breath. When Ramakrishna Paramhams used to go in Samadhi, his breath became so imperceptible that people thought he is dead. ऐसा एक नहीं, हर बार होता था विद रामकृष्ण परमहंस. मतलब उनको टाइटल पड़ गया था कि बार बार मरने वाला आदमी. And that is that fourth state. Bahya abhyantara vishakshepi chaturtha. So first you are working with these three in three ways. Bahya vritti means you're working with your exhalation. You're exhaling in a particular desh. You're exhaling for a particular duration. And you are keeping a count of those exhalations. Then the three in cognizance with the inhalations, the abhyantara vritti. So inhalation in connect to the desh, kala, sankhya, and then stambha that is kumbhak. Kumbhak is always to be practiced under a guru's or a teacher's guidance. Don't practice kumbhak on your own when you do know nothing about it. Just by reading books, oh 142, चलो ठीक है, 6 सेकंड इनहेल करो, 24 सेकंड होल्ड करो, 12 सेकंड एक्सहेल करो, ये ऐसा मत करना, ऐसा मत करना. You'll harm your nervous system. प्राणायाम के बारे में बहुत बढ़िया वार्निंग हठ योग प्रदीपिका में दी है स्वातंत्रम जी ने कि यथा सिंहो गजो व्याघ्रो भवेत वश्य शनैः शनैः तथैव सेवितो वायुः अन्यथा हन्ति साधकम. जैसे लायन, टाइगर, वाइल्ड लायन, वाइल्ड टाइगर, वाइल्ड एलिफेंट को ट्रेन किया जाता है शनैः शनैः, ओवर द ईयर्स, धीरे धीरे, स्टेप बाय स्टेप, नहीं तो खा जाएंगे तुमको। वैसे प्राणायाम तथैव सेवितो वायु, सेवन कहाँ है? रिस्पेक्ट से। हम प्रसाद का सेवन करते हैं ना, ऐसे सेवन तीर्थ का, वैसे प्राणायाम का को बोला है। डोंट टेक प्राणायाम लाइटली, बिकॉज यू आर डायरेक्टली प्लेइंग विथ योर नर्वस सिस्टम, यू विल हार्म योर नर्वस सिस्टम। तो फोर्थ, चौथे में क्या होता है कि वो हाइबरनेटिव ब्रेथ बन जाती है। द ब्रेथ बिकम्स हाइबरनेटिव। शरीर में इतना वो स्थिर सुखम आसनम, तुम्हारे चित्त स्थिर हो जाता है, इतना स्थिर हो जाता है कि तुम्हारे ऑक्सीजन की रिक्वायरमेंट मात्रा जो है वो बहुत इतनी। हाउ हाउ डू यू थिंक दिस पोलर बेयर्स गो इन हाइबरनेशन फॉर 6 months? Polar bears, polar bats, squirrels, and frogs, they go for hibernation. Hibernation. So even they are not breathing, they are. So that kind of breath, that is the fourth pranayama, and it happens. It begins to happen when you become well versed with the previous three. इसलिए उसको चतुर्थ बोल दिया है। ततः क्षीयते प्रकाशावर्णम। Now these are the fruits of pranayam. These are the two fruits of pranayam. ततः क्षीयते प्रकाशावर्णम and धारणासु च योग्यता मनसः. Let's take that dharanasu cha yogyata manasa first. When you do this pranayam, last time you did it, and I hope you are practicing it Patanjali style, okay? That you take the focus of your mind in any location inside your body, hold that focus in that location, and then do your abhyantar vritti, that is your inhalation, exhalation, retention in that location, with your mind in that location. That is the desha paridrashto. Paridrashto means keen observation. When you begin to observe very keenly, the perspectives change. I give you the example. You look at the lines of your hands and put a lens, look at them through the lens, they will enlarge. Put the hand under the microscope and the lines will disappear, only the cells will be visible. So the perspective has changed. When you are seeing the lines, you are thinking of palmistry and all, right? But when you are seeing the cells, you're not thinking of palmistry. You're thinking about biology, right? And then you put your hand under an electron microscope, and that hand becomes physics, quantum physics. You begin to see electrons and protons and quarks and whatnot. So the perspective changes. So Patanjali is telling you that you please go on practicing this, your perspectives will change. Then in cognizance with your duration, now location is fixed. Now in that location, I'm inhaling, exhaling, and retaining. For how long? The duration comes in. And then the count. How many breaths there in that location? This is the practice. Now, when you are doing this, it is impossible for the mind to go out, to wander. It cannot wander. And that is the training of the mind. It is a training of the mind, qualifying the mind for dharana, which is the next first limb of antaranga sadhana, the next limb. So mind is qualified, becomes qualified for meditation by pranayama. And second thing that happens by pranayama is tatah kshiyate prakasha varnam. Now this needs a little bit of explanation. There is a shlok by Vyasa in the Bhashya. द्वे बीजे चित्तवृक्षस्य प्राणस्पन्दनवासने एकस्मिन् तयोर्क्षीणे द्वे अपि क्षिप्रं नश्यतः It means that your vasana, your desires, and your pran, they pulsate together like this. I say, together. If vasana becomes intense, the pran pulsation also becomes intense. If one slows down, the other slows down. They work together. And that is the reason when you're angry, your breath becomes fast. When you are relaxed and in love, your breath is different. Every shade of emotion which is born out of your desires affects your breathing. Now, Patanjali is saying that you cannot control your desires because you don't know their origin. You don't know when they are going to crop up. You don't know their stage, whether they are Tanu, Prasupta, Vichhinna, Udar, whatever. Because they are deep in your subconscious mind. You don't know when they'll pop out. Very difficult to control your desires. But has given you control over your breath. And as they pulsate together, here you desires you cannot, they are not in your hands, but breath is in your hands. So control the breath and the desires will be controlled. Do you understand? This is the connect. Now, when the desires come under control, then your intellect doesn't go wrong. Its capacity for decision making is not hampered or infected by your desires. Otherwise, your decisions are not neutral. They're not unbiased. All your decisions, they're biased. Who decides for you? You don't decide. Your desires decide for you. Your vasanas decide for you. Your vasanas and desires will make you look at a thing to befit them, not as it is, at the thing as the thing is. And that is the avaran. Your desires, vasanas, your unresolved issues and everything. That is the avaran over the clarity of your intellect. बुद्धि के प्रकाश के ऊपर वो कालिक छा गई है. जैसे लैंटर्न रहता है उसके ऊपर सब कालिक छा जाती है तो अंदर का प्रकाश धीमा हो जाता है, तेज नहीं रहता. तो प्राणायाम से वो कालिक सब हटने लगेगी तो बुद्धि का प्रकाश तेज हो जाएगा. ततः क्षीयते मतलब क्षय हो जाएगा प्रकाश के ऊपर का आवरण. तो ये दो दो फल प्राणायाम के बताए हैं. Mind becomes qualified for dharana, that is to stay put at one place. Otherwise, it's like a butterfly, never still. And second fruit of pranayam is you will get clarity for everything. Your intellect will become razor sharp. पतंजलि ने ये नहीं दिया कि मैं प्राणायाम से मेरा पेट कम हो गया पता है और मेरा ब्रोंकाइटिस ठीक हो गया और मेरे चेहरे पे इतना ग्लो आ गया. ये सब बेनिफिट्स नहीं बताया पतंजलि ने. These are this is why pranayam is to practice. Then another wonderful thing begins to happen when you are doing pranayam. That thing is pratyahar. Pratyahar. Swa-vishaya asamprayoge. स्व-विषय मतलब मेरे अपने, मेरे वाले. मेरा वाला येलो, मेरा वाला रेड, मेरा वाला विषय, स्व विषय, असंप्रयोगे। संप्रयोग मतलब जाके चिपकना, जाके चिपकना। अ मीन्स नहीं चिपकना, इट्स अ निगेशन। स्व विषय असंप्रयोगे चित्त स्वरूप अनुकार। अनुकार मीन्स अनुकरण करणं म्हणतो ना आपण, अनुकरण करणं, टू फॉलो. You go to a class and what your fellow student is doing, you follow, उसका अनुकरण करते हो. तो चित्त का अनुकरण करना. इव इंद्रियाणाम प्रत्याहार. प्रत्याहार मतलब प्रति आहार, मतलब ऑपोजिट ऑफ फूड. Opposite of food. Now, what is their usual food? What is the usual food of eyes? Hmm? Eyes, the most powerful sensory organ which shouts down all the other organs. Most powerful, eyes. मैंने देखा, मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखा है, तूने देखा? तो द फूड ऑफ आईज इस दृश्य जो भी है, दृश्य वो उसका विषय है. चक्षु इंद्रिय जो है, साइट, उसका विषय बाहर है. सब देखना बाहर का, ये वो 24/7, दैट इज इट्स जॉब. बाहर के विषय को वो चिपक जाते हैं चक्षु दिमाग में. असंप्रयोगे तो उससे डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाता है, बाहर के विषयों से डिस्कनेक्ट. अभी आंखें बंद करते हो तुम, तो तुम बोलोगे डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया, नहीं होता वैसे. आंखें भी बंद कर लिए तुमने तो भी इमेजेस तो शुरू ही है ना, इमेजेस थोड़ी रुकती है. सिर्फ आंखें बंद करने से असंप्रयोग नहीं होगा, लेकिन प्राणायाम करोगे तो असंप्रयोग होगा. जब प्राणायाम में आंखें बंद करोगे तो बाहर के विषयों से पूरा संपर्क टूट जाएगा. मन में भी उनके चित्र नहीं उठेंगे, पूरा संपर्क टूट जाएगा. स्व विषय असंप्रयोगे चित्त का अनुकरण करने लगेंगी वो इंद्रिय. चित्त अंदर में जो भी देख रहा है, अनुभव अनुभव कर रहा है, वो अनुभव करना शुरू कर देगी आंखें. अंदर क्या, अंतर्मुख हो जाएंगी आंखें. उसको प्रत्याहार कहते हैं. ऐसा कानों के बारे में भी होगा. ऑल द फाइव सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स. कानों का विषय क्या है? सुनना. ये तूने सुना क्या? मैंने सुना. उसने क्या बोला? बता 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 क्या बोला? गॉसिप, वी लव गॉसिप. गॉसिप इज द विषय. बाहर का सुनना इज द विषय ऑफ कान. वो बंद हो जाएंगे, वो अंतर्मुख हो जाएंगे सब. ऑल द फाइव सेंसरी पोटेंशियल्स will start anukaran of what your chitta is doing. And your chitta is focusing on pranayama, on the kriya. Will cultivate, this will develop an ability to control those sensory organs anytime, anywhere. That is paramavashyata. ततः परमावश्यतेन्द्रियाणाम. ततः परमावश्यता इंद्रियाणाम. When you keep on practicing pranayam in sthira sukhamasana, as suggested by Patanjali, observing the desha kala sankhya, and bahya vritti, abhyantar vritti, stambha vritti, then your breath will become dirgha and sukshma. You'll achieve the fourth state in pranayam as well. Your mind will be qualified for antaranga sadhana, for dharana. Antaranga sadhana begins with dharana. The all the impurities, maligning the light of your intellect, they will wane, they will disappear. All the sensory organs will develop the habit of becoming inwardly and follow the activity that chitta is doing. And then with this practice, you will get the ability to turn in your indriya at will. तो अगर वो कैपेसिटी जब आ जाएगी तो बाजू में हजार लोग क्यों ना हो, जोर जोर से बैंड क्यों नहीं बज रहा हो, वो योगी अंतर्मुख हो जाएगा एक सेकेंड में ऐसे. उसको बैंड सुनाई नहीं देगा, उसको कुछ दिखाई नहीं देगा. इतनी इतनी शक्ति, इतनी शक्ति से वो अंतर्मुख हो जाता है. द होल पोटेंशियल, डू यू नो हाउ पोटेंट योर सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स आर? They're guiding your whole life. They run with you entire life. They have tremendous potential. All that potential is at disposal of the chitta. ऐसे पल भर में अंतर्मुख हो जाते हैं. So when you develop that capacity of making the sensory organs of indriya antarmukh, then the door of antaranga sadhana opens for you. Then the doors of antaranga sadhana open for you. तो यहां तक के बहिरंग साधना हुई है. Why it is called bahiranga and why those remaining three dharana, dhyan, samadhi are called antaranga? Because all the five bahiranga, their topics are different. Their topics are different. Yama deals with your relationship with the fellow human beings. Niyama deals with your relationship with yourself. Asana deals with your Annamaya Kosh in the right uh, position or right demeanor, I would say, for yoga. So it is concerning your body. You call this body a temple of God, right? So to cleansing the temple, there is asana, and then pranayam. We saw the topic is all breath work and the deep down desires in the recesses of your unconscious mind. And then pratyahar has to is dealing with the sensory organs. So ye panch, their topics are different. But when they come together, then you are ready for meditation, for antaranga sadhana. So, talking lightly about meditation, so many people come to me, अरे sir, meditation सीखना है. अरे मेडिटेशन सीखना है, फाइन. मेरे को क्लास में बोलते मेडिटेशन लो. लेकिन ये इस पे कितना काम कर रहे हो तुम? यम नियम आसन प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार, इन पे कितना काम कर रहे हो? तो वो मेडिटेशन का क्वालिटी क्या रहेगा? एंड फॉर एडवांस्ड योगी, जब योग साधक मतलब उत्तम अधिकारी बन जाता है ना, तब मेडिटेशन को बैठूंगा ऐसी बात ही नहीं रहती. ही ऑल द टाइम इज इन मेडिटेटिव स्टेट. मतलब मैं रोज सुबह आधा घंटा मेडिटेशन करता हूं इज अ ट्रेवेस्टी ऑफ मेडिटेशन. इट्स अ इंसल्ट ऑफ मेडिटेशन. कि रोज सुबह मैं आधा घंटा 1 घंटा मेडिटेशन करता हूँ. Meditation is a state of chitta. But on this we will discuss. We'll talk next Saturday because there all those that should be discussed together. Antaranga sadhana. Dharana flows into dhyan, dhyan flows into samadhi, and how exactly it happens. So there are a few sutras which, although they are not in your course, but I will explain them to you so that you get clarity about how your meditation should be and that you don't fall prey to, quick fixes and hacks. Okay, so I'll stop the recording here.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.